Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK, back at you with another video here to break on the two-game NBA main slate on Sunday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS. I'm also running a weekly $20 PayPal giveaway on my channel. How it works, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment though per video. So it started with my Monday NBA video that I uploaded at the beginning of the week. We'll go throughout the week. We'll end my Monday NBA video at the end of the week. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway that many times. If I have 10 videos uploaded for the week, you can enter the giveaway 10 times. And again, the winner receives $20 PayPal for myself. Also, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support on these videos, on the live streams, on Twitter. Really do appreciate it. So with that out of the way, let's jump in the video. First, let's look back at my lineup here from Saturday. So Saturday, another one of those what could have been nights, right? So this is my final lineup. Ben Simmons, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Whiteside, Simons, Hezonja, and Damian Lillard. So once Kemba Walker got ruled out, I was all in on those Boston guys. Marcus Smart, only 31% on this tournament. He was huge, 68 fantasy points. So that was massive. You played Marcus Smart, you had a huge edge to the field. Gordon Hayward and Tatum as well. I was not fading any of those guys. With Jaylen Brown out, with Kemba Walker out in such a good spot, I just played all three. Ben Simmons, I believe he's 9.2, 45 fantasy points against the Knicks. Expected a little bit more, but that game was just very, very low scoring, 90 to 87. So yeah, Ben Simmons, nothing special. This was the big frustration here with Whiteside, only 25 fantasy points. So let me just talk about it a little bit, I guess. The Blazers only had 8 active players, and Hassan Whiteside was very underpriced, for sure. So, in that situation again, if I could go back in time, I would play Hassan Whiteside 100% or 100 times out of 100 in this exact situation. So, yeah, he busted, but I really think he was a good play. We just got a bit unlucky there. He just only had 9 rebounds in, 33 minutes. The game did blow out, too. He didn't see any fourth quarter run. But still, like for him to only have 6 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks in that amount of time, we definitely got a bit unlucky there. So certainly tilting, because if Hassan Whiteside just gets a normal game of like 40, 45, could have been a huge night. Simons is a value play. He was 71% owned. I mean, he started. He was fine. 17 fantasy points. Hezonja, so I picked the wrong one here of those guys I mentioned with Hezonja, Little, and Gary Trent Jr. It was Gary Trent Jr. that went absolutely off. I think he had like 50 fantasy points, something crazy like that. So if I went there instead of Hezonja and then switched off Whiteside, could have won a GBP probably. And Lillard, with no CJ McCollum, I was not fading him. Again, the game blew out. Those guys didn't see any fourth quarter run, but still, that was a play also I was not fading. Like, there's no way I was fading Lillard. There's no way I was fading Whiteside there. So yeah, that's basically it. Hit the cash in this tournament, but again, it could have been a huge night if Whiteside just had a decent game. But yeah, hopefully you guys won some money. Again, Marcus Smart, if you played him, you were probably in pretty good shape. Only 31%, that was pretty key. And if you somehow avoided Whiteside, then you were gold. But yeah, okay, so that basically wraps up Saturday. So we only got 2 games today, and it's a pretty, well, I don't know. Denver's on the slate, so there's a lot of question marks for sure. Let's take a look at some numbers here. So we got a game at 2 o'clock and a game at 7 o'clock. We have the Heat Spurs right now sitting at 221, with the Heat favored by 1.5, and we have the Pacers Nuggets sitting at 212.5, with Denver favored by 2. So, let's just start with center today. And Jokic, the most frustrating player to roster in NBA DFS, for sure. He's 9.6. This is a spot where we still have no Jamal Murray, still no Gary Harris, still no Paul Millsap. So, yeah, his upside is massive in this spot. It's just, does he want to take over the game, right? He could easily put up 70, 80 fantasy points in this spot, or he could put up 30 if he just wants to be passive and just sit around and do nothing. And we could get either Jokic, right? So that's why he's just literally the most frustrating player to roster, because even with all those guys out in that game against Golden State, he was like busting massive in the first quarter, or in the first half. But he ended up picking up in the second half, got there in overtime. But Yeah, it's one of those, like, I get it if you want to fade, but his upside is just massive. So on a 2-game slate, I will probably be playing him, and hopefully we get that good aggressive Jokic, but you never know. He could also bust and put up 30 fantasy points. His range of outcomes is just huge, even with all those guys out. Bam Adebayo at 8.8. I want to play Bam, but this is a situation where I just think he's priced accordingly, right? I don't know if there's enough. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if there's enough upside on this price. Like, sure, can he get 50 on a really good night? Of course he can, but I think I like the upside a little bit more with Jokic for an extra, 1,000 or so compared to Bam. Now, again, if you want to fade Jokic, that's 100% fine with me. You could look to a guy like Bam, who's going to be a lot lower owned, in my opinion. Now, it is a better spot, but again, with all those guys out for Denver, I just like the upside a bit more for the Jokic. I also like Sabonis a good amount. His price came down after he got in foul trouble last game against Minnesota. Only played 26 minutes. Just had an off night. I'm not super concerned about that. Before that, he's been the most consistent player. Like, he's 35 to 50-ish, around there. And at 7.9K, I think that does stand out, even in a tougher spot. So I do like Sabonis a decent amount there at that price. You could also look to Aldridge for $1,000 less. Now, this is not the best spot either against Miami, but 6.9K, like, that's a pretty cheap price tag for Aldridge. Like, he's a pretty safe player. He'll probably get you somewhere between, I don't know, 25 to 40, with like upwards of like 45. So I don't think he's going to kill your lineup if you play him. And again, 6.9K, that does stand out as a pretty good price for him. Now let's talk about Miles Turner, 5.7. So this is a situation where I kind of look to Miles Turner when Sabonis is out. When Sabonis is in, he just doesn't have a whole lot of upside. Like, he's got to get there in blocks because he's not going to do a whole lot offensively. So I'll probably pass here. I mean, the price is okay, but I just don't know if I see the huge upside with him, with Sabonis in the lineup. Also, some foul trouble risk too, right, going up against Jokic. Mason Plumlee. Now we get to Denver, and now, Denver is just, with the value guys, is the biggest question mark, because we have no idea what Mike Malone's going to do. Literally no idea. I'll talk about some other guys more in a bit, but yeah, Plumlee. He played 27 minutes the last game against Golden State, which is obviously good to see. I think he probably gets a little more run than 17 minutes. I don't know if he gets up to 27, but we know the Pacers run big, right? Miles Turner and Sabonis. So I think this is a better game for Plumlee compared to Jeremy Grant. That's just my best guess, though. Again, we have no idea what Mike Malone's what he's gonna do. This could be a game where Plumlee starts. If that's the case, I would like him a lot more. So yeah, like 5K does seem like a lot for him, but this is a spot where I could see him getting extended a bit. So a little up in the air, though, again, with Mike Malone. Trey Lyles, there's just no way I can pay 4.6K for him, for a guy that maybe gets 20, 25 minutes. Yeah, that's a pretty easy fade for me. Again, no Paul Millsap again. So a guy like Jeremy Grant has been starting. I have been avoiding him, but that's because he was priced around the 5K range. Now he's at 4.3. So we'll see. Again, this is probably a better spot for Mason Plumlee, but Jeremy Grant's also $700 cheaper. If he's going to start, I think we probably get at least 25 minutes from him. And if that's the case, I think he does stand out as a pretty decent value option. So, yeah, we'll see what Denver ends up doing with that starting lineup. I got Jakob Poeltl, 3.9. Now he seems priced right. Like, he got extended a bit that last game against Atlanta because Aldridge was in foul trouble. So I'm okay with him, but I think I prefer other value plays. I'll talk about some other value guys here in a bit. Let's see, Kelly Olynyk finally got dusted off for a little bit of run. He got 18 minutes, shot the ball well. I don't think we can. I mean, that's just more of a dart throw, right? You got to hope he gets like 15 to 20 minutes and plays really well. Before that, right, 9, 12, 3 minutes. He's kind of been out of the rotation, so I really can't recommend it with confidence. It's more of just a dart throw play. Same thing with James Johnson at 3.2. Did get 21 minutes the last game. I don't know. I mean, 3.2K is pretty cheap, but yeah, he's another one of those situations where it's just kind of a dart throw. Like, you got to hope he plays well in that limited time. But that's basically it for center. So let's move on to power forward. Again, Sabonis, I think, is pretty safe. I think Aldridge is a pretty safe price tag. Now let's talk about Michael Porter Jr. This is another situation where I have no idea, right? His upside is huge. We've seen it the last couple games, 37 and 47 fantasy points. But now he's priced at 6.3K. I would like it a lot more if he starts. If he comes off the bench, I think we probably only get 25, maybe 30 minutes on the very high end. So, yeah, if he starts, I think that we could see him play upwards of 35 minutes. Again, he's been playing really well. His upside is high. It's just, does he get the minutes, right? So, another kind of tough situation to break down with Denver because I just have no idea what they're going to do with the minutes. But if Porter Jr. gets like over 30 minutes, he can still get you there at the price. We've seen it, right? We've seen it the last couple games. TJ Warren at 6K, I actually don't mind it. He's been solid. My issue with him is he can be scoring dependent, right? But he had a good game. I think partly because Sabonis is in foul trouble, so TJ Warren had to do more offensively. A price of 6K. Again, he can take over games. Like, he can have those big upside games. So I'm fine taking a shot there for GPPs. Let's see. Other options. Again, I already talked about a lot of these guys. Rudy Gay is doubtful, I believe. Yep. So with him being most likely out, we can look to Lonnie Walker probably gets a little more run, but they also dusted off Marco Bellinelli. It's just, I don't know. I'll talk about those guys here in a bit. Derrick Jones Jr. at 4K. If Tyler Hero misses, I guess is an okay value option, right? He probably gets around 25 minutes, so I would consider him for sure if Tyler Hero can't go. Meyers Leonard, kind of out of nowhere, only got 15 minutes. We had been getting like mid-20s minutes, so that is definitely concerning. Yeah, he's more just in that dart throw range, right? But that is basically it for power forwards. Let's move on to small forward. DeMar DeRozan at 8.4 has been playing really well, but this is a much tougher matchup here against Miami. I was really, really high on him in the game against Atlanta. He put up over 50 fantasy points. This is a situation where if you like riding the hot hand, you probably go DeRozan. I just think his ownership's going to be inflated after these good games. It's a tougher spot, so I'm probably going to fade. But again, he's been playing great basketball. If you like riding the hot hand, no issue with that. Jimmy Butler at 8.2. Like, I think I would prefer Jimmy Butler. Just the better matchup overall compared to DeMar DeRozan. So, like, I would probably take Jimmy Butler or DeRozan. But if you like riding the hot hand, you could go DeRozan. So I would prefer Jimmy, but I get it if you want to go DeRozan there. Now, Will Barton at 7.6. I know that price is up, but man, played 43 minutes. Now, again, that game did go to overtime, so he's only on pace for 38. But he's just going to have to do so much more offensively with no Jamal Murray, no Gary Harris, no Paul Millsap. So even at this price of 7.6, I still really like Will Barton. Let's see. Jeremy Lamb is listed as questionable. This is pretty significant. If he can't go, that would open up some value plays. Guys like Justin Holiday, guys like Aaron Holiday, they would get more run. I don't know who they would start. It would be, we'd have to see. But those two guys would become very, very viable if Jeremy Lamb can't go. Now, if Jeremy Lamb plays at 5.1, I'll probably pass. See, Duncan Robinson at 4.6 has gotten 39 and 36 minutes in back-to-back games, which was good to see. I think you can consider him if Tyler Hero misses once again, just because of those minutes, right? 39, 36. He's not a super high usage guy, but if he can knock down some threes for sure. And if he gets hot from the three-point line, like, he can have a big game. We've seen upside games from Duncan Robinson where he can put 30, 40 fantasy points when he's shooting well. So I'm okay there, just because of those minutes, right? 39 and 36 minutes is really good to see. Torrey Craig, there's just no way I'm paying 4.4K for Torrey Craig. That's a pretty easy fade. Let's see. Again, don't mind Derrick Jones Jr. if Hero misses. Justin Holiday. So 3.6K, I think he would be a candidate to possibly start if Jeremy Lamb can't go. If that's the case, I think he would stand out as a pretty decent value option. Also, we could look to guys like Aaron Holiday. So we'll see who the Pacers end up starting if Jeremy Lamb can't go. Doug McDermott at 3.3. That's just more of a dart throw range. He has, in 18 and 23 minutes, has gotten 22 and 23 fantasy points, but he's pretty scoring dependent. Like, he's got to knock down those threes. Again, I'm okay taking a shot there, but you got to hope he knocks down those threes in limited time. Yeah, so Lonnie Walker versus Marco Bellinelli. I'm going to give the edge to Lonnie Walker and hope that, like, Popovich gives him more run. He only got 17 minutes the last game, but it's pretty solid in that time. 17 fantasy points, so about a point per minute. Yeah, like I said, with Rudy Gay out, there's a little bit more time to go around, but we saw Marco Bellinelli get more run too, right? Like, I thought a lot of those minutes would go to Lonnie Walker. That kind of split him evenly with Bellinelli and Lonnie Walker. So I would definitely prefer taking a shot on Lonnie Walker compared to Bellinelli and just kind of hope he gets more run. We also have DeJounte Murray listed as questionable. Now, I don't know if like Lonnie Walker would get a huge boost from that, but maybe a couple minutes, right? I think the main beneficiaries from if DeJounte Murray can't go would be those other point guards, Derek White, Patty Mills, Bryn Forbes. But there could be, a couple extra minutes for Lonnie Walker. So if you're going to take a shot on one of these really cheap Spurs with Bellinelli or Lonnie Walker, I would prefer Lonnie Walker, I should say. PJ Dozier. So he played 13 minutes in that first game when Jamal Murray went down. Played really well, 21 fantasy points. Then only got 7 minutes. So I think he's going to be probably under 1% owned. But there's a chance that if he plays well, backing up Monte Morris, that he could get extended, right? So you could take a shot for sure and just hope that Mike Malone gives him the minutes. That's really it. So let's move on to shooting guard. Okay, Brogdon 7.3K, I think it's a perfectly fine option. 34, 31, 32 minutes. He's pretty safe in my opinion. He gets those peripheral stats. I don't know if he has the massive upside in this game against Denver, but at 7.3, I think he's a perfectly fine option if you go more for safety. Let's see, Kendrick Nunn. So this is kind of a big question mark too. He's played really well the last couple games. 31 and 31 minutes, 48 and 30 fantasy points. Now, he's kind of gotten there scoring the ball, right? 33 real-life points, 22 real-life points. So he's been shooting the ball really well. I'm a little bit torn here. I think he's going to be pretty popular because 5.6K does seem pretty cheap. Good matchup too. But he's also been shooting the ball, again, really, really well. So I don't know. Again, if you like riding the hot hand, I think Kendrick Nunn does stand as a pretty good option. But I also think he's going to be really popular. So this could be a situation where I might take a stand here and fade him and just hope he doesn't shoot the ball really well like he has been the last couple games. But 5.6K, again, it does seem a little bit too cheap for him. Let's see. Malik Beasley. Again, who knows, right? He played 7 minutes that game where Jamal Murray went down and then comes back and plays 39 minutes. Who knows, right? Literally, who knows? He shot the ball really well with him, PJ Dozier, Monte Morris, Michael Porter Jr., who knows who's going to get the run, right? I have no idea if Malik Beasley is going to come out and play 10 minutes this game or going to play 40. So it's really just like between that group of guys with Morris, Beasley, Michael Porter Jr., even PJ Dozier, I think at least one or two of those guys are going to have a big game. But again, your guess is as good as mine of who gets the minutes. Now, I think Beasley probably has a better chance since he played really well and played 39 minutes. But it's Mike Malone, right? He is in that David Fizdale category of we have no idea what the minutes are going to be like for these guys. Yeah, so Derek White, we have DeJounte Murray listed as questionable, so he would be a value guy I could look to for sure. I think probably he would pick up the start, probably gets around mid-20s minutes, so I would look to him. You'll also look to Patty Mills and Bryn Forbes. I actually think are pretty solid value plays here. 3.4K. He's already going to play 25 or so minutes, and if DeJounte Murray misses, maybe a few extra minutes go to Patty Mills. So I think he stands out as a pretty decent option. You can also look to Bryn Forbes, right? These are guys you can for sure take shots on. And again, if DeJounte Murray gets ruled out, that's just a little extra run for those guys. But that's basically it for shooting guard. So let's move on to point guard. Let's see. I already talked about Barton and Brogdon. We still know Jamal Murray. Obviously, still know Oladipo. Oladipo's coming back soon, I believe. Okay, yeah, DeJounte Murray. This is pretty significant. He's listed as questionable. If he can't go, then it's Derek White, it's Bryn Forbes, it's Patty Mills that should get a little extra run there. Now, if DeJounte Murray is able to go, I'm fine taking a shot here. 5.4 does seem a little bit too cheap. We just saw what he did that last game against Atlanta, and he got 33 minutes. That's the most minutes we've seen DeJounte Murray in a long time. I think ever, or at least for this season, right? I have not seen him play that many minutes. He's been capped like 26, 28 minutes. 33 is really good to see. So if DeJounte Murray plays, I would have a good amount of interest in him. Again, if he misses, then we can look at those value guards. Don't mind Goran Dragic here, 5.3. If Tyler Hero gets ruled out, he probably gets 25 to 30 minutes. And this is a situation where, again, I might take a stand. Like, I think Kendrick Nunn would be a lot higher owned because he's just been playing a little bit better. But it could be a spot where maybe I pivot to Goran Dragic, who I think is going to be super, super low owned compared to Nunn. And does have upside still, 5.3K. We have seen Goran Dragic put upside games, right? 55 fantasy points a game against Portland. Like the upside is still there. I just think he's going to be super low on compared to a guy like Kendrick Nunn. So that's just on a 2-game slate where we have to take a stand. Like I think Nunn is probably the better play if if Tyler Hero gets rolled out. But it could be a spot where, yeah, maybe I take a shot on Dragic and just, he's probably going to be 1/10 owned of Kendrick Nunn. Monte Morris, right? In those group of guys for Denver, where who knows who's going to admit. 5.2K. I think that's going to scare a lot of people off him for sure. Like I think he's going to be pretty low owned, but I think if he plays well, he could get 35 minutes, kind of like we saw with Malik Beasley. So yeah, you could take a shot there, but again, I just have no idea what the minutes are going to be like for those Denver guys. And that is basically it. TJ McConnell maybe gets a little extra run if Jeremy Lamb misses, but that's more of just a dart throw territory. So yeah, that basically wraps it up here, guys. Again, there's a good amount of ways you can go on this 2-game slate. I think, Jokic is to spend up. Obviously, has the most upside, but he is the most frustrating player to roster for DFS. So I get it if you want to fade him. You got solid guys in the mid tier too. If you don't want to play Jokic, you can make a pretty decent cash game lineup if you wanted to on this short slate. Like you could play, let's see, if you were playing cash games, you could play Jimmy Butler, you could play, Will Barton, you could play Sabonis. You could play like Aldridge, something like that. And that's like a pretty safe lineup. Or you could shoot for the stars, right, and go Jokic and then take shots on some of those value plays, right? But that's obviously a lot riskier of a lineup. Like if you plug Jokic in and then try to take a shot on a couple of those Denver guys, or maybe take a shot on, I don't know, one of these Miami guys, like a Duncan Robinson. I hope he gets hot. Like I said, there's a couple different ways you can go for this slate. The Denver guys are the biggest question mark, right? Like I have no idea what's going to happen in those minutes with Beasley, with PJ Dozier, with Monte Morris, with Michael Porter Jr., even with Plumlee and Grant. Like it's kind of up in the air. So hopefully that kind of helps you guys. Again, I know the Denver situation is really hard to break down because I have no idea who's going to get the minutes. But again, brief overview of the slate. On the Miami side, I think Jimmy Butler probably my favorite play, but there's also other plays you can take a shot on, right? Bam Adebayo I think is going to be a lot lower owned compared to Jokic. You could look to Kendrick Nunn, who I think will be pretty high owned if Tyler Hero is not able to play. Now, if Tyler Hero plays, that would definitely take a hit to Nunn, to Dragic, to Derrick Jones Jr. So I would probably fade those guys if Tyler Hero is available to play. But again, if Tyler Hero can't go, you could look to Nunn. You could look to Dragic as a pivot. Duncan Robinson or Derrick Jones Jr. you can take shots on. On the San Antonio side, I think, Aldridge stands out as a pretty safe option there at 6.9. Don't mind DeRozan, but I think I'd prefer Jimmy Butler at a similar price. And then, the big question mark is DeJounte Murray, right? If he can't go, then we can look to those value guards. If DeJounte Murray plays, I think I would have interest in at 33 minutes the last game. And then the Pacers side, right? I think Sabonis stands out as a pretty safe play, as well as Malcolm Brogdon. The big question mark there is Jeremy Lamb. If he can't go, then we could look to Justin Holiday. We could look to Aaron Holiday as value plays. And then the Denver side, the big question mark is just who knows what the minutes are going to be like. Now, we know Jokic and Will Barton will get the minutes, but everyone else is kind of up in the air. So that's a situation where hopefully you guessed right on those other secondary Denver pieces, because I think one or two of those guys will probably have a big game, but it's just kind of, I think he's going to go with a hot hand there. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe. Again, if you want to get entered in the giveaway, all you do is a like and a comment in the video. It's where I'm entering the giveaway. I'll be back for another video to break down the big Martin Luther King slate. I think we have an early slate as well as a late slate. I'll have a video up for both. For this 2-game slate, I'm not going to live stream. I mean, I don't think there's a reason to live stream for a 2-game slate. But it is important to follow me on Twitter, guys. That will be in the description below. I'll give my thoughts as we get this injury news throughout the day. But yeah, thanks again for everyone coming to check out the video, and I will see you guys all tomorrow for the Martin Luther King slate.